Welcome back to Unmute Yourself. I'm your host, Jennifer Carter, and this podcast is all about lifting the curtain on leadership, purpose, and the real stories behind women who dared to do things differently. We'll talk about how they found their path, the struggles along the way, and how they built something that truly matters. These are normal people doing extraordinary things because I want you to know you are extraordinary too. My guest today is Teonna Wilber, a licensed mental health counselor, speaker, entrepreneur, and leader with more than 25 years of experience helping high achieving professionals break through the internal barriers that quietly sabotage their success. Teonna specializes in the kind of struggles most people don't admit out loud: self doubt, check; overwhelm, check; perfectionism, fear of failure, check, check. And she blends deep clinical expertise with practical, results-oriented strategies to help people move forward with clarity and confidence. Now, we were just talking, Teonna and I have known each other for almost 20 years, which time just flies by. And
Easy, yeah.
so right, doesn't it go fast?
Mhm.
So I know that whether she's counseling, coaching, or speaking on stage, her mission is simple: to help people get out of their own way and step boldly into the success they're capable of. My gosh, Teonna, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
Isn't it always fun when you hear an intro about yourself and you're like, that's me? That's amazing.
Sometimes it honestly, to be honest, when people read all of that, sometimes it just amazes me, to be honest with you, because when you're just living your life day to day and you're accomplishing your goals and your small goals and then your bigger goals, I tend to move on to the next goal, as most people do, especially high achieving professionals, and don't always take a minute to reflect. And so to hear it all strung together out loud, sometimes it just puts me in a little bit of awe.
It blows your mind, right? Time flies, and if you keep at it consistently, it just kinda takes over. So
Absolutely.
now, Teonna, you and I have known each other for almost 20 years now, and you were actually my supervisor way back in the day, and then
Mhm.
you had left to go start your own practice. Tell us about what led you to that work and owning your own counseling and coaching practice and now being a public speaker.
Oh, absolutely. So I've been in the mental health field for about 26 years now, and I've been in the leadership aspect of it for over 20 years now. And so what led me to go into private practice initially, because the private practice you're referencing was when I was living in Michigan, and that was a little bit different of a private practice than what I have now. What motivated me to be in leadership is a lot of things. One is coming from my generation, that women in leadership weren't always accepted. I hit a lot of glass ceilings along the way. I've worked in my fair share of, we call them toxic environments now, but facing sexism, facing just different pressures that women would feel growing up in that generation, that hopefully people like me and you have smoothed the way for the females coming up now. What led me into leadership was that, and then looking in the mental health field, going, we've just got to do this better, period. And that's not a slight to people that were doing it in the past at all. It's just at that time we did what we knew. What I really wanted to do in leadership in the mental health is better care for clients, but also better care for our staff.
That's profound. I think too, like every generation that comes next, it is, oh, we want something different. And I know like Gen Z coming up, holy cow, like they want something different just based on what they've seen. And it's not to knock, like you said, anything that's been done before. It's just more data. And with more data, we have more, information, and we can change things and tweak it and make it better and better and better. So if you've gone through entrepreneurship, right, with your first private practice and now your giant coaching practice and now into public speaking, what
Mhm.
are some of the most common barriers you see that hold back high achieving professionals?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say the mindset. We get in our own heads quite a bit. We doubt ourselves. We get into this mindset of, can we really do that? Are we really capable? Is this really going to work? People have to balance their risk taking and comfort, because when you are going out and taking risks, you're no longer comfortable. And there's a balance in that. And I was actually just working with a client this morning on the same thing, where she wants to branch out and do more risk taking in her career and even in her own personal life. And, the balance of sometimes if you're going into a whole different type of job of or if you're launching out as an entrepreneur, the stability of income until you get to that point, or it's scary going out and starting something new. So it's that balance of the mental barriers of, can I do this? It's outside of my comfort zone, that self doubt, that worry, and just wondering, will you be successful?
How did you get over it? Because I know, like, we when we went our separate ways, we were
Hmm.
both coming from a government entity,
Hmm.
which is, highly regimented. How
Yes.
and then yeah, how did you keep going for 20 years and building something even though you might have been afraid?
Well, so listen, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I forgot to
Okay.
mention earlier imposter syndrome, which is that and everybody faces this at some point, like, I'm not really skilled and knowledgeable to do what it is I'm doing, even though you are. But it's that imposter syndrome: is, am I being a fake? Am I being a phony? Can I really do this? Okay. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You never really fully get over it, because with each adventure, you you have it again, right? You experience it again. So I will tell you, in that private practice, and it was a much smaller individual private practice that I built in Michigan. Well, I came back to Indiana and I built another counseling practice, and it's a whole different ballgame. And I have, at this point, I believe 15 staff under me, multiple locations, where we have two physical locations. We're doing um, teletherapy throughout the state. We're launching into programs. And then, because, I always want to take risks and I like to grow, grow, grow and push myself, I launched my speaking business, Teonna Talks. And so that opens up that whole new, you asked me, how do you get over that? It's not necessarily that you ever just completely let it go. You don't let go of the imposter syndrome. You don't let go of that, but you learn to work within it. Yeah, there's
How do
times I'm
you
scared, but I push through it and I have to go back to my concrete evidence that, yes, I do have the skills. Yes, I am capable. And here's why: X, Y, and Z.
that that's it sounds so easy, Tiana. You make it sound so easy. But how do you even go about untangling all of that, right? Because it's the high performers that I'm thinking of, they're often praised for being driven, getting everything done. And it's the same behavior that creates burnout and fear and stress and so where do you even start?
Well, you're absolutely right in that there also has to be a balance, because high achieving professionals often don't give themselves the permission, so to speak, of taking time to themselves, self care, which is beyond just pedicures and bubble baths, by the way. People think self care and they think,
Really? Dang it. Dang it, I thought it was gonna be just that. Okay, keep going.
I mean,
No.
those are nice things. This could definitely be helpful, but there's so much more to it. And it is sometimes saying, hey, you know what? I really want that opportunity, but now's not the time. I have enough on my plate. And that's okay too. It is
Saying
being able to
no.
balance everything, saying no, being able to balance everything in a way that's peaceful for you.
I'm sitting with that for a minute. I'm taking it in. I feel like you're coaching me right now, Tiana, because saying no, I know a lot of people and I know you know a lot of people that have a really hard time saying no, setting those boundaries, especially when everything is piled on them, right? And
Hmm.
it could be from a parenting perspective, a work perspective, and then everything's going great until you just snap. So, what are some of those early signs that people are struggling internally, even though they seem to have it all together on the outside?
Well, that's a really good question. So, being able to check in with yourself, we don't just snap. So, if you think about the old what was that stupid bunny? That, Bugs Bunny, right? And all of those
Yes.
commercial or all those cartoons where they had the bomb and there was the long or the short wick. There's a wick burning if you're gonna burn out, and being able to identify where that wick is and what are those symptoms. So, are you starting to get crabby? Are you starting to stay up too late and cut down on your own sleep? Everybody has their own things. Are you starting to um, not eat or eat too much or eat unhealthy when you usually eat healthy? What are these changes that you're seeing within yourself? Are you making less time to do the things that fill your bucket? Whether it's time with your significant other or going out with your friends or doing whatever it is, your exercise, whatever it is, are you making shortcuts here so that you can work more? Are you feeling exhausted and feeling like, I notice that some people will feel unappreciated when they're starting to burn out.
Wow. Deanna, why do I feel like you're talking about me? And I know I know that that folks listening, I'm sure, can hear themselves here. And I love what you said, like the things, the little habits and things about yourself that start to fall away.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think most people can see that about themselves, or they let it go and think they have to. Okay.
Again,
So
giving
when they
yourself permission to take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't help anyone else.
Okay, fine. Yes, yes. Tiana, I'll listen to you, and I hope our listeners, listen to you because that is, I think that's the best way that I've ever heard it be described, honestly. The wick and the little things. And, at the
Yeah.
beginning, you talked a lot about self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and I'm also thinking about perfectionism
Mhm.
and high performers, like everything has to be done and it has to be done right.
Mhm.
So when someone notices the imposter syndrome or the perfectionism, what are those first steps that someone can take when those thoughts start running the show?
Okay, very good question. So here's the reality. Those expectations that high performers have, a perfectionism, we have to be the ones doing it. Nobody else can do it the same way we do it, or we're going to let everybody down and everybody's going to be disappointed, or all of these things, all of these expectations, and all of these thoughts that we have all come from ourselves. They're self inflicted. I mean, if you think about it, who in your life is telling you you must be perfect? Nobody else. And if they are, then you need to reevaluate that relationship. But there is nobody else in your life telling you that you must perform perfect at a perfect level at all times. Nobody else would have that expectation of you, nor would you expect that of anyone else, right?
Right.
Would you tell your people in your life you must perform at a perfect level at all given times, or there's something wrong with you? Because that's what we're telling ourselves. And so when we're feeling that, we have to stop and give ourselves permission to be human and to remind ourselves, actually, we really don't have to do that. And we're the only ones creating that pressure for
Wow.
ourselves.
So how do you retrain your brain to do that? Okay, so we've seen it, right? We've
Mhm.
checked in and say this is a bunch of baloney. I'm holding myself to this perfect standard. How do you
Mhm.
start replacing that?
Well, first, I have to tell you one other thing about that is I know for myself, I've been in that spot myself. And when I started showing like my human side, people like it more. They do. They connect with us more when they see that human side, when they see that I don't have it all together. I really don't. Um, there's things that are askew in my life just like everyone else, right? And so reminding yourself that if you want to have human connection during that time, let people see like your messy room once in a while. I'll just call it the messy room, right? Because we all have them.
We've
Let
got
people
so
see
many
your
messy
messy room.
rooms.
Yeah. And it's okay. And reminding yourself that while everybody else seems to have it all together, they all have messy rooms too.
They do all have messy rooms.
Everybody
Eh,
does.
yes, they do. And I think we spend so much time trying to be perfect and show these people that we want to see us as perfect that we don't have a messy room. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting and
So
everybody has
exhausting.
them. I know when I'm online doing like coaching or doing like taking coaching, I'm not being the coach per se, but I'm thinking, you look at their background and it looks all perfect and, they got the perfect little shelves and the books in the right perfect way. But you have no idea. And you asked how to break down those mental barriers. You have no idea outside of that screen what's happening. For all you know, they have Legos all over the floor. They have dog hair everywhere. You don't know what's going on
All
beyond what
true.
you see. And so really being able to break down those mental barriers of you only see of people what they show you. I promise you, everybody has messy rooms. Everybody does.
So, with that being said, how do you help people figure out the difference between like healthy ambition, thinking, take the world by storm, right? And that perfectionism or pressure that's hurting them?
That is a pretty deep question. And so when you think about how your life is flowing, how your life is going, how is your ambition, your your drive affecting other parts of your life? And so do you have that balance? Because we don't have just one aspect of our lives. Our lives are multifaceted. So we have our career and we have whether it's friends or family, some people have children, some people have other activities in their lives, whatever it is you have going on in your life. Is there balance to that, or is it out of whack? Is your mental health balanced? It doesn't mean you necessarily have a mental health disorder, but we all have mental health, right? Just as we all have physical health. And so are you feeling overstressed by this project you're trying to take on to the point that it's affecting you and affecting your functioning and all those other domains in your life? Does that make
Makes
sense?
That makes perfect sense. So it's not just having ambition or a dream. It's it feels like you're in a sinkhole and it's all caving in around you when it's
Mhm.
too much. Okay, so
Right.
we're staying out of the hole. Okay. Okay, I got it. I got it. So, and we're around the holiday season. And I
Mm.
know this oh, girl, and I know this can ramp up, right? Especially women who are trying to make the perfect holiday for their perfect family and not let anything fall through the cracks and still be beautiful and smart and on top of everything at work. And guess what? It's not gonna be perfect. We just learned this. Okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
So, when you have that high achiever, what does a fear of failure actually look like in them?
Around the holidays or in general?
Let's say in general, but I want the listeners to think about, like, even now because it's gonna be amplified.
Okay. So that fear of failure again looks like perfectionism. It looks like we have to continue to give our all. It looks like constantly driving ourselves. You look like
Do
you
you
had a
ever
question.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, do you ever see people not do anything out of fear of failure? Do they just give up
Well,
or
there's
not
nothing
start?
wrong with reconsidering your goals and checking on whether they're appropriate. I just had an article published today in the local newspaper about appropriate goal setting, and you want your goals to be reasonable and achievable, and there should be steps along the way. So, when you're saying giving up, I guess it depends on what that looks like to people because some people see it as giving up. I see it as re evaluating your goals and what's achievable and possible. And that has to take into consideration all the other things you have going on in your life too.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. So, when you say it, it sounds so intentional. It's like choosing whether to stop or engage in something else
Mhm.
versus just crawling into the hole and avoiding it.
Right. So when you think about the intentionality of goals, you want to set goals that are meaningful, achievable, and there's steps to them. So it's not always, by the way, about growth, 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 moving forward, forward, forward. Sometimes it's about stability too, and staying where you are and creating that stability.
Oh.
Yeah, if you think about goals from like a lot of people think about running a marathon. People go like, "Well, I want to run a marathon," but they've been sitting on the couch for years and years, right? So they're not going to get up and run a marathon the next day. Some people will never be able to run a marathon, and that doesn't make them good or bad. It just is. And so, but somebody who might actually be capable of running a marathon may actually decide, you know what, a marathon might be out of the question for me. Maybe I'll do a half marathon, or maybe I'll do a 5K. That doesn't mean they're giving up on their goal. It just means that they're doing something more realistic and reasonable for them.
Can I say there are a few people in particular that I've worked with over the years that have said to me, I should be further in my career by now. I'm a disappointment to my family because I'm not this far in my career. I don't have this degree or I didn't do this. And it sounds to me like you're saying whatever you choose, you're choosing it for a purpose and for you. And it doesn't have to be to anyone else's measure. It's based on your own.
Oh,
Did I get
absolutely.
that?
Whose life is it? It's yours. You're the one who has to live the life.
Yes.
You're the one who gets to live the life. You make your life, not anyone else. I know there's certain cultures that
Okay,
put different
so
pressures, but ultimately, you're the one living the life.
yeah. How do you see high achievers getting clarity on what they actually want in their life to begin with?
That is a very good question. So sometimes I'll suggest doing like a vision board to help you figure out what are all the things you want in your life and what's reasonable. So a vision board is a beautiful way to start that.
Yeah, because especially if you're living someone else's expectations.
Hmm.
Girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when
Okay.
people start to put their expectations on you, remember that they've had their own life to choose how they want to live. You get to choose yours.
Oh my gosh, boundaries. I feel like you are prepping people for all of these big family conversations and meals that they might be trying. Why aren't you married? What about kids? Have you gotten
Sure.
promoted in your career? Why are you
Gosh.
doing this?
Oh gosh.
God,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And you're right. And then there's the other conversations of, well, you run your own business. You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. And it's like, that's not actually how that works.
that is
Not if you
not
want a
how that works.
successful business. No.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so you, I know you have decades of leadership experience. And What would you say are some mindset shifts that help professionals step into leadership with confidence instead of anxiety, right? So, perfectionism, this is how a leader is. How do you get them through that? Full of good questions today, Tiana.
Usually that's about imposter syndrome. And, you know, some of the ways I made my way as a leader is through looking at what other leaders did that I liked and disliked. What I thought was really great leadership and what I thought was really poor leadership. And so I had coaches along the way. I still have coaches. I have coaches for my speaking business. I have coaches along the way. It's great to pick other people's brains and learn from other people. And again, looking at what is it that when you look at a leader that you really admire, what is it that you admire about them? And then leaders that you're like, I would never be like that person. And we've all had them. And what is it that you don't like about them? But that confidence, I think that's something that just comes with experience.
Yeah. And so it takes time. And so be nice to yourself and give
Absolutely.
yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just it's learning curve. It's a learning curve. It's always a
Okay.
learning curve. Even as an established 20 something year leader, I still get thrown curveballs sometimes.
I look, you say that and I believe you and you're being completely authentic. And because I see you as you've been doing this for 20 years, there's no way that she gets thrown curveballs. But it's true. You're saying you have a messy room too.
I do. I do. I've definitely been throwing some curveballs even in the last year and a half, and that happens when you're growing and you're getting out of your comfort zone. But reminding yourself that you're capable, and you know what? If you don't have the skills, that's okay because somebody else will teach them to you. All you have to do is ask.
You have such a good attitude, right? Oh my gosh. It's like I could just listen to you all
Oh,
day, which
thank
is why
you.
you
I
have a
could talk to
speaking.
you all day. I could
We just
talk to
have
you
a good time. We have a good Okay, so Tiana, so for anyone who's listened, who's accomplished a lot, and for those of you listening, when I say accomplished a lot, think about your own bio that I would read on this show. You would be surprised. I'm just saying. But for those listening who've accomplished a lot, but still might feel like they're not enough, what would you want them to hear today?
that you're enough no matter where you are in your career or where you are in your life. It's where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be at this point in your life.
Mic drop. Okay, now these are going to be good. So I have, Tiana, a few quick fire questions. And so just answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Here we go. Tiana, what's a bold idea you've had recently that scares you just enough to try it?
Launching my speaking business while managing a clinical practice.
Oh my gosh. Good for you. What's one small daily habit that's had a big impact on your mindset?
Well, it's something I learned in my leadership courses actually. It's called Power Hour, where I spend an hour each day just getting my stuff organized, doing the reach outs that I need to do. But it's a very intentional hour that I set aside each day to do the tasks that I need to complete.
I'm so stealing that. So stealing that.
Take it. It's all you, girl.
I will. Thank you. Okay,
Welcome.
if listeners could take one action, now not just an idea, after hearing this, what should it be?
Set a reasonable goal for yourself for 2026.
Boom. I have mine. Do you have
Good.
yours?
D- I do. What's yours though?
No, I don't want to say.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to say because you are making me take a risk. I'm going to have 3 speaking engagements next year,
Good for
2026.
you. Good for
Yes.
you.
Let's
Do it, girl.
go. Let's
You
go.
got
Okay.
this. Yes.
Okay. Okay, last rapid fire question. What's one word that captures who you're becoming right now?
One word that captures who I'm becoming right now. My best self.
Why
It's
do I
not one
feel like
word.
crying? It's so good.
Oh,
Well,
thank you.
Tiana, yeah,
We
see,
have one
Tiana,
more question where you're supposed to come back.
if you could unmute one topic people aren't talking about enough, what would it be?
Mental health treatment in the United States.
Snaps. All the
Yep.
snaps. Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you for sharing your story and your wisdom with us. And before we wrap, I do have a couple of final questions.
Okay.
So, if listeners walk away remembering just one thing from this conversation, what do you hope it is?
I hope they feel empowered.
I feel
Yeah.
empowered. I think they
Good.
will.
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it. You're only standing in your own way.
Right. Here we go. And on a more personal note, what has it meant for you to share your story here on Unmute Yourself today?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I feel really in awe by all of the things that you're doing. And I see you all over LinkedIn and platforms. And it's just been amazing to connect with you, honestly, because you're doing such big things and it's so nice to connect with other people who are taking those risks and doing the big things too.
Same, right?
Yeah.
When I walked into this, you were one of the first people I connected with, and,
Really?
it's
I did not
yes,
know
and
that.
it's been a joy. Yeah, and it's been a joy.
Oh,
Yes.
same, same, same.
Yes. And Tiana, how can listeners connect with you and support your work?
They can go onto my website, tianatalks.com, and they can email me at tianatalks@gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Tiana, for sharing your story and your wisdom with us. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to Unmute Yourself. If today's conversation inspired you, please share this episode, subscribe, like, follow, and stay tuned for more stories of leaders creating work that truly fits and matters. Until next time, unmute yourself and step into the story only you can tell.